Tell me, have you ever tried to thread a needle through your fingertips while getting covered with tar and chicken feathers? Let me tell you what. If you have, I'm very sorry to hear that, but I'm also here to tell you there is something even worse than that, although it may be hard to believe. Yeah, try working at Walmart. I mean, I worked and still work at a minimum wage job, and I'll tell you what, it is not easy. But I got plenty of other friends that work at Walmart, and I'll tell you this too. If I had a penny for every time one of them said that they were more than ecstatic to get into work, I would still be broke. But they'd be in something worse because they're still working at Walmart. Now, why is it so bad? And why do we got to do something about it? Let me get into that because let me tell you what. Walmart and their practices are just unacceptable, and we need to take them down a peg, right? So what do they do? Let me tell you what they do. You see, they have a little issues with something called human rights. Yeah, imagine already getting paid like nothing. You go in and they want to pin you against your other employees, right? They have this little system where they base your performance on a time frame, right? They time like everything you do. They put it against other workers, and they're like, "Oh, this one did great. This one did not great, and this one met the time. This one didn't. You stink." And in an article done by the Arizona Daily Star, it goes into some of the things you do if maybe you don't like that. You don't like working like a racehorse, right? And they do stuff like write you up. They do stuff like fire you. They do stuff like demote you. I mean, it's totally unacceptable. And so, of course, you have a bunch of workers throughout Walmart's expenditure trying to do something for themselves, trying to get themselves better working conditions, right? Through unions and other things. But some of the predatory behaviors that Walmart indulges in, there's an article done by D. Wessener talking about this, and it's crazy. I mean, they have like cameras that spy on you. They have these interrogations that try to break information out of you, and if they do get anything, then it's not looking great for your time there, right? It's probably gonna not work there anymore, and now you're back on the street needing a job, and this is just unfair. You can't have this. So what do we do? Well, it's not about what we do. It's about what we don't do. Yeah, which we want to do is or not do is we don't want to give them money, right? So what does that mean? It's boycotting. That's what that means. You see, a boycott is when you don't shop somewhere. When you just say, no, I don't want to deal with that company. I'm going to go somewhere else. Right? Because giving money to a company you don't like is bad. Right? And in an Arizona Republic article, one done by this year, actually, they talk about what some of the recent stuff about Walmart, right? With all these working conditions and why we do got a boycott for that. Kind of similar to what I'm doing right now. But what it goes into is the importance of boycotting, because at the end of the day, money talks. And if we keep this up, real change can happen. But hey, there's boycotting, and there's taking it a step further. And when you take it that extra step further, messages are sent. I'm talking, of course, about protesting. Yeah, supermarket news. There's a little bit written by Jay Springer that goes on about the kind of things that Walmart will say to downplay what protests do, right? They'll tell you like, it's neither here or there. We don't care about protests, but you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, these kinds of things can hurt a company. And it's all about consistency. It's all about keeping it going. But people may say, they may think of a rebuttal like, oh, I don't want to boycott. That's too hard. It isn't. It really isn't. That's a lame excuse, because I'll tell you what, plenty and plenty of small businesses exist, right? That's how communities thrive at the end of the day. There's probably one, if you live in a city, plenty. If you live in a rural area, it's probably all you got. And you help these shops out, it helps not only the local economy, but it helps tell Walmart that, oh my God, these people really don't care for what we're doing. We gotta fix this. We gotta do something, right? And that's what we want at the end of the day. And now, some people may say, well, it doesn't affect me. Why should I do anything at all? Well, it may not affect you directly, but I'll tell you what, you probably know someone that does work there, or at least someone who has a relative who works there. And, I mean, you don't hate those people that you care about, right? No, you want to do right by them. And this is how you do right by them. Because at the end of the day, it's a community. You got to be there for each other. You can't just say, oh, it doesn't affect me, because it affects the world around you, right? You don't do anything, these companies all keep it up because nobody cares, right? And so that's going to be what happens if we just let this keep going. I'm so riled up thinking about this. I'm furious, right? You see, because there's some information spillovers, right, from protests against corporations. It was written by this particular one by R. Hayagina, right? I'm probably butchering that name. I'm very sorry, but it's really crazy stuff. You look at these numbers. A lot of the time, these protests, right? They'll just start off strong, but they trail into nothingness. And really, that's the dangerous thing about these things. If we're not unified, if we don't know what we're doing, and if we're not consistent, it'll all be for nothing, and it won't matter anything. We're just being harder on ourselves, and we don't want to do that, right? So we want to expect setbacks. We want to stay strong in tough times, because that ultimately what yields great results, right? There's another piece written by Stellan O'Urich and Raisel, right? And it's a journal of business ethics, right? It goes on about exactly what these actions can do, protesting and boycotting, right? It's about what these businesses, how they move around that, and how it does affect them, and how it does change what they do and what the people get in return for that, right? So, look, what do I want you to do? Well, I told you why. Working there sucks. I told you why. It isn't hard to boycott. It isn't hard to protest. So, look, all I want you to do is just find a local business to shop at. And if anyone asks you, I want you to tell your friends why you're doing that. Why Walmart sucks. Because together, we can remind them who they work for.